What treasures that we 100 know existed still haven't been found? The hoard of Aztec gold stolen and lost by Hernán Cortés and the Spanish conquistadors during the Night of Sorrows. While trying to escape from Tenochtitlan in the night with the gold, the conquistadors were set upon by the Aztecs. During the fighting and confusion, it's thought the gold fell into Lake Texcoco. Hernán Cortés escaped with only a small number of his soldiers and the gold has never been found. The Atari video game series, Sword Quest, had a contest for the real-life treasures: the Crown of Life, Philosopher's Stone and Sword of Ultimate Sorcery. You can find pictures of them, so we know they existed. There are 3 theories about what happened to them. The first is they were all melted down after the competition was cancelled. The second, Atari CEO Jack Tramiel kept them for himself. Lately, they are gathering dust somewhere, forgotten. The imperial treasures of Japan Kusangi, the mirror, and the Magadama jewel were supposedly lost beneath the waves during World War II. Lost Prospector's gold mine, D.B. Cooper. Supposedly a ton of gold that today Hussein withdrew from the National Bank of Iraq right before the US invasion. The US was able to seize some of it. The tomb of Genghis Khan. What we do know is that he had an elaborate and large funeral procession where his honor guard slaughtered anyone they came across to hide the location of the tomb. When the honor guard returned, the army slaughtered them to permanently hide the location of the tomb. Great Golden Bell of Damazetti. Good chance it's still at the bottom of the river, under feet and feet of silt and mud. Lots of people looked for it, even to this day, but so far have been unsuccessful. There's this one necklace these guys were looking for, and this old lady gave them this whole long story about how she found it but didn't tell them she had it this whole time. Then she just drops it into the middle of the ocean without telling anyone. I found a small starch capsule in my new house. Inside the capsule was a roll of paper wrapped with a brass ring. The paper had some Chinese written on it. To this day I still don't know what it said. Pick the enormous golden menorah from the Second Temple. The Romans took it after sacking Jerusalem. Some people think it's being hidden by the Vatican, but I think more likely it was melted down and will never be found. I went to college beside that museum in Boston that got robbed. They never found the thieves or the paintings. The famous Gardner Museum theft. No one knows what happened to the paintings still. A lot of this treasure are material cultural remnants. I hate the word treasure because it assumes the finder has the right to take something they find and profit from it. $190 million worth of Bitcoin on a hard drive in a particular landfill. A half-demented old coot lost $8,000 and it almost cost the town's most beloved citizen his life. The townspeople stepped up to rescue him, but the money was never found. There was a guy that hid a substantial amount of gold out in the Mojave Desert, I think. And nobody has found it yet. A bunch of people have died trying to find it. The Three Brothers. An absolutely beautiful set of jewels that simply vanished from record, which is very surprising as they are beautiful and large. There was a book that hinted at a handful of jeweled figurines hidden all over the planet, and I believe only some of them have been declared found. Portrait of a Young Man by Raphael. Missing since the end of World War II. All signs point to it having been sold for traveling money by Nazi Hans Frank. Tomb of Alexander the Great. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Funny thing is, they're all probably buried in Alexandria beneath the modern city. The shipwreck of Flor de la Mar. Sunk with the equivalent of $2 billion in today's money. De la Mar. The original Declaration of Independence is actually in my basement. The US government still doesn't know they have a replica. There are some particular artifacts taken from the Mughal ship Gunjai Sawai by pirate Henry Avery that haven't been recovered. The 1715 Spanish treasure fleet wreck will almost certainly never be 100 recovered, meaning there's still some out there. Lost Dutchman mine? I think it was somewhere in Death Valley maybe? Been a long time since I heard it mentioned. Pancho Villa hid millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and cash somewhere in the Sierra Madres. Probably. The burial site of Genghis Khan is still unknown. It was not documented on purpose and it worked pretty well. Watch Expedition Unknown on Bomax. Josh Gates goes after a different lost treasure in most episodes. King John's Crown Jewels. Lost while crossing the Wash on the east coast of England. Over 800 years ago. My Wealth and Treasures? If you want it, you can have it, search for it. The One Piece is real. I will have to argue that if we haven't found it we can't be 100 sure it exists. Heirloom Seal of the Realm, or the Imperial Chinese Seal. Supposedly worth billions. Bernstein Simmer. During the last days of World War II 1944 the Bernstein Simmer disappeared. Mongol treasures in Afghanistan. There are several myths about it being buried there. This sort of fits the bill. No one mentioned the Ark of the Covenant. The Honja Masamune samurai sword, Alexander the Great's tomb and sarcophagus. Absolutely wild story behind it. A portrait of Ristin Bennett Gatty and Mary Frances Bennett Gatty. The Amber Room, though I heard it is close to being discovered. The Amber Room, about 83 of the caches from Byron Price's secret Ark of the Covenant. It's gotta be out there somewhere.